Real estate rock stars, this is Matt Amuchastegui. Hey, you've probably heard about the mastermind that we hosted in Austin over the last 4 years for all of our podcast listeners. And this last March, we had a fantastic time, a bunch of amazing speakers, and great fellowship. Well, I wanted to take some of those speaker talks that we had and release them to you guys here on the podcast so you can get the value that our members got when they were there, and also make you think about maybe joining us next year. So we've just released the dates for next year. It's February 25th through 27th, and we're only selling tickets for the next 30 or 40 days, and then we're going to lock down the orders, and so we can start, sending out the value ads for all of that. And if you end up joining the podcast mastermind, if you end up signing for the mastermind, you get to become a part of our private Facebook group, our private circle app, all sorts of referrals between different people. And then you'll also get recordings, all the recordings for the past several years of masterminds that we've had. But, just so you can hear a little bit more about kind of what you missed, get some added value just for being a listener, because I appreciate all of you guys that are here. Here is one of the clips of that, or here's one of the, 45-minute talks. I hope you guys love it.
My name is Matt Amuchastegui. I'm Aaron's kid brother. I have real horrible slide game. I'm just going to come out and say it. I usually talk from the hip, so I've got some points here. Some of them end up being like notes. Nicole did a great job. That's a really, really tough act to follow. Ultimately, I'll tell you that real estate, God, man, I do it because I love it. I found something that I'm good at, right? And I love it. And it's because I'm real. And it has led me to some other incredible opportunities that I'll talk about. And with that, I'll just go down the road, and hopefully I'll give you a few things that you'll be able to take from this, and won't bore you too long. The first time I spoke, it was 45 minutes, okay? That's not going to happen today, I promise. I was told to cut okay, some people say an hour. It's hard to say. But also, not a crier. If you're here the first time, you know that's a joke. I might cry. I don't want to cry. It's not like I plan to cry. Okay, when I rehearsed this, I didn't cry once. I've done it once. If that happens, don't get uncomfortable. We'll get through it. I'll eventually stop, and we'll talk, and we'll laugh later, okay? The worst thing is when I hear people go, oh, God, oh, fuck, and they don't even know what to do. They look around like, if it happens, fuck it. We'll roll with it. But I hope it doesn't. But I'm a very real, I am an emotionally driven guy. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I do it with my clients too. And I used to think it's a weakness, but I actually think it is a pro. So also, I have a really hard time bragging on myself. I just want to talk about this, like being the number one agent in your association, like all the stuff. I remember when I first did the podcast, and the guy, it was Adam Roach. He's like, Matt, you got to brag on yourself. I was like, I'm not good at that. He's like, no, come on, we got to dig something. Like you got to brag on yourself. You got these great numbers. And so I've always prided myself in being humble. But the reason I had the Man on the Mission song play is because if you guys heard me speak the last time, I had written on a Post-it a very specific goal. See, that didn't take long. After spring break in 18, I realized I didn't have a mentor anymore. I needed to find a mentor, so I was reading these books. And one of the books talked about putting very specific goals on Post-its. One of the goals that I put on a Post-it on my mirror was I wanted to be the number one agent in my association. Okay, at the time, there's 200 agents. I know you guys some of you are part of much bigger associations. In 2024, a down year, high interest rates, buyer-broker agreements, and looking at that Post-it on my mirror for fucking years, I finally became the number one agent in my association this last year. So, I was on a mission then, I'm on one now. Guess what my goal is this year? I want to be the number one agent again. Okay, but not at a cost. I want to make sure I still represent my clients and treat them really well. I'm going to give you a little bit about me. Where I found my true meaning and motivation for real estate. I'll talk a little about advertising, some things I do, just show you some promotion, different sponsorships I do, and hopefully give you guys some thoughts on things you can do now. I saw a lot of people that have been here like their first time, or they might be in their first couple years of real estate. This might appeal more to you, and that's what I really love to do. Because when I first got my license in my area, there were some agents that were not welcoming. They did not like it, that I was encroaching on their territory. But there were a couple that were super helpful, super mindful, and would remind me, hey, Matt, you really should include this other form here, And so I've made a mission. When I have new agents call me and it's clear that their broker's not giving them any guidance, I take the time. I had one guy go, oh, did I mess up again? I'm like, no, brother, you're totally fine. But we got to add this form in. Don't worry about it. So it's important to me. About me, this sums it up right here. So first and foremost, I'm a husband. I'm a dad. This is my son, Lincoln. My company's name is Lincoln Homes. I named it after him. I named him because it's a strong name, I thought. And everybody's naming their boys all these crazy, wild names. Nothing against it. But this is my family. That's Bella, Paige, my wife, Tessa, and all supportive, but it's the motivation, you know. I mean, you've got to have motivation behind what you do, so I felt it was important to tell you guys who I am first and foremost. All right, I got to get into the real estate history really quick. You can read all that. This is why I suck at slides. I should have said like one thing and then told you all that and had this in front of me. But I started in 2010. So 2010 to 2014, I had gone through a divorce. Was kind of like trying to find my way. Happened to get my license in the process. Was actually living on Aaron's couch at the time. He had a spare room for me. And he had just learned how to buy foreclosures, so I became the guy that would drive the properties. So I was driving properties. I think I got like $5 a house, $10 if I talked or saw somebody, $15 if I identified someone. If I got inside the house, I got $20. And I wouldn't break in, so hear me out. But if I could shake their hand and they trusted me enough and I got inside, like, it taught me some really good skills. I mean, to show up on someone's door who hasn't made a mortgage payment in a couple of years, they're probably frightened, they're probably scared, they're pissed off at the world, they're pissed off. And for them to be able to trust a complete stranger and go inside their house and let me take pictures, this was a huge thing later on that helped me build rapport really quickly. I mean, I've always been able to communicate with people. I'm not going to lie, there were a couple times like I thought I was going to get beat up. There was one big dude that came out. Luckily, that didn't happen. One guy showed me a gun in his belt. A really fun story, though, was when I saw a house. It was pretty much run down. The grass was overgrown. The garbage cans were, I think, over to the side and overflowing. So usually you learn these signs of, like, no one's living there. So there's a door, and I've been working out. I've been lifting some weights. And there's, like, a taller door, and there's a window above the door. So I got an idea. I'm going to jump up there. I'm going to do a pull-up and peek in because nobody's coming to the door. So I do it, I jump up there and I'm pulling myself up, my feet are hitting the door and I look down and there's this guy peeking around the corner right at me. Holy shit, man. Like, I dropped the ground, ran back to my car as fast as I could, really startled. So just some fun things about that part. The other thing this did for me, it taught me how to do CMAs very quickly. I would do anywhere from 10 to 30 CMAs a night. And so it became a really good gift for me. I live in an area now where there's not a lot of as many, I'm not going to call them cookie cutter houses, but like, you know, in the California area we were at, I could find a model match in a half mile. I could find a model match 2 to 3 of them. And then it was really easy to go, okay, well, we're going to do this. We're going to make it newer. I can add a premium. And I got really good at doing a lot of them. And it's helped me now with my clients. I've never one time done an automatic CMA. I don't know about you guys, but like they have these buttons you click. I do not trust that. Every single CMA I do for my clients, I look at every listing. I look at every one of them because that's what I did here. I pulled every one up. Did it have granite? Did it have Formica? Blah, blah, blah. But it was my crash course in real estate and how important it was. And then I would go to auction, do cash for keys and repeat. That was pretty much it. It was a really good gig. I did these things. I would drive the properties, you know, hop the fences, meet with people, all that stuff, and I would get the listing, and I would go to auction. I would get the listing either at 2 or 2.5%. And I was thrilled with it. It was great. I thought I had it made. I worked with one group of investors. I didn't know what it was like to work for the traditional buyer yet, okay, or buyer or seller. As Aaron said, that went away. When that went away, I thought my life was over. I finally made 6 figures, you know. I thought things were going really good. And what was I going to do now? We also just had twins. Those girls you saw in the picture are twins. And now I'm like, okay, great. Let's pick up and go to Arizona because we're like, there's a funny joke. My doctor told me this. He's like, what's it like to have twins? Well, imagine like you're treading water. And you've been treading water 5 minutes and you're tired, and then imagine somebody hands you a baby. He's like, that's what it's like to have twins, right? So we went to Arizona. My sister was there, and so we thought we'd get some help there, had some friends, and I got my real estate license there. Aaron was doing projects there. I was helping kind of oversee. He graciously let me be a part of some stuff there. That was the hardest state to get your license in, by the way. I've been licensed in 3 states. I still carry 2 licenses, California, Oregon. That Arizona test was tough. So if you have your license in Arizona, kudos to you. I'd love to hear how many times it took you to pass it, because it wasn't one time for me. I'm just going to leave it there. It wasn't even 2, actually, I'll be honest. Okay. If you come up, I'll tell you how many times later. I'm not going to do it on stage. Okay. But honestly, so, the long story short of that, and we'd been working hard. We flipped one house. We spent all of our savings. I guess it was kind of like we retired early. We spent a lot of time in the pool. It was really hot for my kids. My dad was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and I had a decision to make. I could stay there and get a job at like Keller Williams. I knew some guys there, a traditional real estate company, or I could head home. And on one of the jobs I was working with Aaron, there was a guy there. His name was John, and just a random laborer guy who had a really rough life, but he was spiritual, and he had like found himself again. And I was telling him this dilemma. I don't know why. I mean, by all rights, he hadn't made millions of dollars. I'm not sure why I was going to him for advice. And telling him my options I could do, and he said, Matt, I'm going to tell you something. Arizona's always going to be here. Your dad's not. The guy's a genius. So headed back home. And then, so got back, though. I got to spend a year with my dad. It was actually good time spending. We were going to start building houses. And at that point, when I came back to Oregon, I decided I was out of real estate. To me, it was done. The market was done. It was as good as it was ever going to get what I had with Aaron. There was no way I was going to have that kind of money again. And so I was going to start building houses with him, and I was going to go a different direction. I really believed in it. Took a while, ended up managing storage units at $15 an hour. I'm not dogging that wage. Everybody's got to start somewhere, but I can tell you it wasn't enough for my family and I to like eat and get ahead. It just wasn't, but that's what I was doing. And so after he passed away, I built a house on my own because the people he contracted with, even though he passed, wanted to do it. Built a house. Winter came, took a salary job, 70 grand a year, seemed great. Still not enough. We were living paycheck to paycheck. My wife was an at-home mom. I realized I needed to do something else. So I had to make a tough decision. Before my dad passed away, though, he had encouraged me to get my California license. And I bring this up because there's a quote later I'm going to talk about that everything we've been through is preparing us for what we're going to go through, right? And so he encouraged me to renew my California license even though I wasn't selling real estate. And he said, I want to flip a ranch down in Doris, California. This will be great. And it was a great opportunity. So I got my license, and sure enough, we didn't end up flipping the ranch. So here I was thinking, God, I just couldn't get there, And I was really, about here is when I inherited the entitlement disease. Has anybody ever had the entitlement disease? Like, there's a reason. Like, you're entitled to so much more. Where's yours? Why am I not getting it? Or like the blame disease. I had that really bad. I could see Aaron's success, other people's success, and I could point out why they were lucky enough to be successful, but for some reason, I just got the short end of the stick. And it took me a while, and I'll talk about when it did, but when the blinders came off and I quit blaming people and I realized I was exactly where I was because of the decisions I made is when I made a change. And it happened in 2018, a very specific time. So anyways, I had the license for the ranch flip. The ranch flip didn't work out. And so I went home and told my wife I quit my job. Quit my $70,000 a year job because I was going to go be a real estate agent again. And I was going to get my license and things were going to be fine. You should have seen it. My mom will probably see this. And my mom is a great woman. She's a saint. But when she was sitting in the room too and I told her, and she was not happy. I don't know if she was going to cry or have a heart attack. She was beet red when I told her. I was like, Mom, I'm quitting this. What's your plan? I'm going to start getting my real estate license. I'm going to go back to selling real estate. I started to notice more real estate signs popping up everywhere. I thought something might be coming back, and I was always happy doing it, but I never worked with individuals. And so as dire as it was, we owed like $35,000 in taxes from all this, after blowing all the money down there. I had a car repossessed. That wasn't cool. I don't usually put that on my resume when I meet with clients, by the way. I leave that part out. Had the debt. Oh, shoot. Let's turn that volume way up. Oh, well. Where was I going with that? Okay. Told my mom, wasn't excited. Used the last $350 out on a Capital One credit card to buy my education for my real estate. But I knew that wasn't going to be enough. So the company I'd quit, they still needed cabinet installers. So I was going to be a commercial caseworker. So I was installing cabinets, studying for real estate, had my contractor's license, so I was being a handyman. I hadn't started selling, so I'm doing 3 different jobs while I'm still trying to study for real estate. My first cabinet job was an 8-hour drive each way. And it was, you talk about stress, man. You show up and there's this giant semi-truck full of casework cabinets and you've never installed a job before. And you just got to figure out where they go and go figure it out. I did, because that's who I am. I did construction work. But finished work sucks, man. God, you're the last one that sees it. All right, so I wanted to post this quote from my dad. And I asked him this about a month before he passed away on a hunting trip. I was like, Dad, I just don't get it, because obviously I'm struggling. I'm really selfish at the time. I'm entitled. It's everybody else's fault. He's not giving me money. Aaron's not giving me money. All these people that are doing well, why isn't anybody giving me a chance? I could flip a house, right? Like, I deserve it. I was wrong. I didn't deserve shit, man. Nobody owed me shit. And I think God was letting me go through this so I could figure this out on my own, because it was going to be worth more. And I said, Dad, how did you get there? How did you make it? And he almost finally, and during this time, at the time, I had a passion to open a marijuana dispensary, and it was medical only at the time. And everybody thought that was a horrible idea. I was like, Dad, well, I can't open a dispensary here because you and Mom live here. You know, that wouldn't work. And I tried to go to Bend, but I don't know if Tessa and the girls would stay, because I almost did the one on the coast. And she said, that's fine if you do that, but I'll take the kids back to North Carolina, and then you can come visit, you know, like come back and see me. Not that she would leave me, but it was like, it was going to make things hard. And he's like, Matt, don't let us be the reason. And I could tell he was just getting fed up. He could hear my excuses. You know what I mean? He could hear it. And that's when he said, Matt, you have to want it so badly that you're willing to lose everything to get it. And I know what he meant now, because the people that really love you, your wife, your husband, your kids, they're not going to leave you when they see you pursuing a passion. But we have this fear. I had this fear that they would. And so it wasn't worth it. I didn't want to choose money over my wife or money over my kids. But the reality is, dude, I hate to admit this, but like, it's kind of hard to survive without money, right? It's not our fault. That's how the world is. We kind of need it. All right. So everything we have been through is preparing us for what we're about to go through. The reason I brought that up, obviously, was when I got the California license. I wasn't planning to sell real estate. We were trying to do a ranch flip. And I was planning to do a ranch flip, but what it did was when I came time to get my license in 2019, it helped me out gravely, because I didn't have to wait as long. I immediately was able to I took this continuing education pretty quickly, got my Oregon license, and it saved me tens of thousands of dollars by not having to go work for another broker, because I could be my own broker. I was working 5 different jobs. I had a health scare, basically thought I was going to die. I don't need to spend a lot of time on that. But I had a nutrition company, a nutrient company. I had my real estate license. I was selling pearls. I was doing cabinet casework, and I had a build-out project up on this hill. And I had a moment there when I literally thought I was going to die. I couldn't eat food. I lost like 10 to 15 pounds in a week. It was pretty bad. Doctors weren't sure what was going on. I said a prayer. Clearly, I can eat again. To give you perspective, I was 144 pounds at that point. I weigh 185 today. So I literally gained back 40 pounds. It wasn't easy. Exercise, eat a lot. I actually had to train myself to re-swallow. Anyways, don't want to get stuck there. But what happened in that moment is when I thought I was dying, I was like, what do I want to be remembered for? Do I want to be remembered as a guy that's like, boom, 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 when they wanted me to open their oysters? Did you guys ever see the oyster shows? Anybody ever see that when it was on Facebook? Yeah, I was one of those. Yeah, she's seen it. So like, girls would order from a magazine, there'd be a piece of jewelry, and then I would open the oyster for them and find the pearl. And so there was a point, and this is where I found my meaning behind real estate. I knew more people would remember me if I was a part of helping them buy a house. And I wanted to be remembered. I remember driving by houses my dad had built. Aaron and I still did it. And it was always meaningful. He could tell us every house he built. And I wanted to be able to tell my kids before I died, if I died in a year or 6 months, because it wasn't looking very good, I wanted to do something with meaning. And I believe that real estate has the most meaning. Yeah, I'm not a doctor. I'm not saving somebody, and I'm not a police officer. I wasn't in the military, a big regret of mine. But I'm doing the most meaningful thing. I'm helping somebody get a safe haven, a home. And for most people, the only way they're going to see generational wealth in their life. So I fully believe in it, and I embraced it, and it became my belief, and that's when I started focusing. I realized I was diluting my brand, and so that's where I went. So if you're a new agent, I have a list of things here. I'm not going to go line item by line item. I can get you a slide later. I took every single call. I didn't have a boundary. Okay? If I got a call, somebody want to see a house, I left the dinner table. Middle of dinner, I left the dinner table. There were 2 activities I'd be doing that I would not leave. I'm not going to say it on stage, to go show a house. One is intimate, one is private. But, you know, I took a $35,000 referral. I remember this other agent, she was seasoned. She gave me this lead, and she didn't want it. I'm like, fuck, I'll take it. And now, dude, it was an impossible deal. 35 grand. He wanted to find a rental, and it was a 2-bedroom rental, and one house hack, and I found him one. It was a struggle. But dude, at that time, $35,000, it converted like $1,000. I wasn't greedy. It's $1,000 more than I had if I didn't do the deal, right? I wasn't too good for any deal when I started, and I don't think anybody should. Yeah, use caution. If the guy sounds like he's going to make a skin suit out of you, don't go. But I'm just saying, like, you know, take the deal. You got to work all of it. His buddy came back and ended up investing over $450,000 with me, a buddy that was there. So like that, me paying attention to the little guy, the small deal, got me another $10,000 to $15,000 in commission. Use social media. Obviously, you're going to see people do way better than that. I don't use stories enough. Nicole, that's how I've even got to know you. You friended me. I think you kill it on social media. I love watching all your stories. It's a perfect balance of like real life and real estate. I got 6 minutes left. I need to hurry this the fuck up. Okay. Also, I'll be honest. When I first started out and I was grinding, a guy called me up for Zillow leads. I had already been burnt a couple times on other leads, and I finally just closed a few deals that were really like good deals. I had like $15,000 saved. And he's like, I'm telling you, Matt, this is going to work. Well, you got to have an all-in mentality. I'm a gambler at trade. I'm a gambler. So I lose a lot of blackjack, so I don't do it anymore. You know, this was a different gamble for me. And I think it's how I got ahead in real estate, because I've been willing to take risks. And that was one of them. It felt like a hefty risk. He said, trust me, this is going to work, and he did. So what Zillow did for me at the time was give me the ability to meet people that hadn't been to my area yet, that didn't even know I existed. I was a premier agent on there. And it worked for several years, and then it didn't. In the year of 2023, I lost $54,000 on Zillow, because my team was being fed really well, but I had such good splits with them that I wasn't getting fed much at all. So if you're new out here and you're looking for a Zillow or something like that, keep track of it. Just make sure to keep track of it, because I forgot to. I was so busy thinking I was counting money I didn't have to. But for me, it backfired. But in the beginning, it was super helpful. That's pretty much it. Be willing to take every deal. Don't be good for any deal. I went all in. So in 2018, I was working out, realized I had lost my mentor when I lost my dad. I didn't have a mentor anymore, you know, and I started writing these Post-its and putting them up on the mirror, and that's when I put that I want to be the #1 agent. I started racking up savings again. Retail cannabis became legalized in my town. I really wanted to get a dispensary going again. Nobody wanted to invest. It was something I believed in full-heartedly. I got told no a lot. And finally, one guy walked into my office when I was getting off the phone with the guy who owned the land, who was going to let me do an owner carry, and he said yes. He became my business partner. Dream of mine to see it. We started with a single wide trailer. When it pulled up, I had people laughing at me how it looked. It was like a McDonald's. I mean, it pumped people in and out of there. And so I went all in again, though. I went all in real estate. I was working out more often, listening to motivational books. I was paying for leads and putting the Post-its on the mirror. So we talked about affirmations. Some of those affirmations were on the Post-its. And when we moved, I took like 8 of these just nasty Post-its and put it in the next house on the next mirror. My wife was like, dude, is there another way, Matt? Because they look bad at this point. And what I want to talk about too is if you're here and like you're not sure, we're going to hear people I know like that have 50 rentals or that they are developers. But if you're an early on like agent, it's okay if you're not there yet. And what real estate did for me is it did give me a platform to be able to do other really exciting things that I was passionate about, that I believe in. Like cannabis is actually a medicine. I can tell you the majority of my customers are actually patients who didn't want to be on a state registry, so you know what I mean, that people would know about them, because there's a thing about having firearms and cannabis and blah, blah, blah on registry. So, again, I hate using the slides, but I got to be real here. So when I came and talked in 2021, I was doing pretty good. I had 10 agents, you know. I wanted to take over the world. I wanted to have a nationwide brokerage. Lincoln Homes is now in 2 states, which is cool. I have like 5 agents now, or 4. But it shrunk quite a bit. At some point, I realized maybe I didn't want a nationwide brokerage. And I'll tell you guys something I haven't told anybody really. I got stagnant for a minute. I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep growing with the growing pains or if I just wanted to go back and sell on my own. And if you wait long enough, it'll get figured out for you if you're not going to make a decision, right? So it's really hard, but you got to make the hard decision and decide and make a call and go. I don't know that it's a coincidence that the year I decided my brokerage is the smallest it's ever been, and I finally got #1 in my area because I focus more on my own deals. So I am my own transaction coordinator. I do my own signs. I do my own lock boxes. But you know why? Because I still like it. That's why I tried to do the thing where like I handed off some leads, but like I love dealing with my clients. I love dealing with the hard parts. I love connecting people like when they don't have money and they're going to a nursing home and no one in their family can loan them, but I can, so I loan them the money and they're able to get to the nursing home because the fucking state Medicare system is so broken and bullshitted that they can't get the help they need till they're broke. Like, I love being able to go that far and actually see the meaning on their face. I love when I close a deal and I get a genuine hug, like with tears in their eyes, because they're making something happen. I love talking to, I love on the, you know, the yard sale sites. You guys all part of like social media and you have like a yard sale site or something like that, a community site. Someone will say, I'm looking for a realtor in town. Like 4 people will say my name. I don't pay them anything. I don't give them $1 or nothing. It's just, it's so great that they're even willing to say my name. So what I realized is, and subconsciously, I wasn't ready to stop doing all these things. I wasn't ready to, I thought I wanted to scale my business, but I wasn't ready for it yet. And the people that have figured it out, I envy you guys. Because that's what I want. I want to get big like that. But I realized I was still having too much fun. So really quick with a few minutes left. I think I got a few minutes left. I'll go quick. Okay. My question is to you, do you know, what is your brand? Right? And your brand is not the company, in my opinion, it's not the company you work for. And that's where I realized what I needed to change. Like, are you diluting your brand is what I would ask myself. Because you yourself are your best asset in this company. We are our best asset. We are our brand. Matt is my brand. And when I realized that, I wanted everybody on social media to know for a fact that I wasn't a pearl shucker. That this isn't what I did, right? That I wasn't a cabinet installer. That's a real deal. I think I had like 34 lives there. At one point I had 500 people. That's Norma. She loved me. She was one of my favorite guests. No. I realized I was diluting my brand. And my goal was I wanted everybody on my social media to know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that Matt sold real estate. And so I think if you're new here, that's what you should do. You should make sure that everybody on social media knows what you do. A couple examples of social media, that's all I would do. I take pictures with clients. It's the most genuine thing I could do. I congratulate them. I don't talk about how great I was, how good of a deal I pulled, blah, blah, blah. It's all about them. And this is just an advantage if you're just starting out, you don't know what to post. That's my first commission check. It was only $300, but you can't see that. They just saw results. You know, another day at the office. I take pictures of my own advertisements. I mean, that's how corny. Just something to put on Facebook. Anything to let them know you're out there doing something. I post my reviews. I even did a radio ad. Do we have time to play this ad? Okay. I even did a radio ad, and you know, everything I'm showing you now. So from this down is what I call saturation. So like social media is the best free advertising there is. There's also a little bit of saturation. So it's like, these aren't call to actions. These are reminders. Let's just play the first one. Sorry, it's a minute long.
This is Matt Amuchastegui, principal real estate broker at Lincoln Homes. Look, I don't need to come on here and tell you how hot the real estate market is. You can probably already tell. Whether you're a homeowner and you've been seeing your prices go up, or you're a home buyer and having trouble getting into the house, most houses have multiple offers on them. This is not an easy time to be a buyer, and it's not really an easy time to be a seller either. It's really important to have good guidance with somebody who's done this. And let me tell you something, I have. I understand the work that it's taken you to get to where you are, whether you're buying or selling. I know what you put into your home, you're selling it, what it's meant to you, what it's become. And if you're looking to buy something, you're looking for that next place, that next safe haven, I know what that means to you. I've had a high level of success lately in getting my clients' offers accepted. It's not just about strategy. It's about passion, it's about drive, dedication, integrity, and honesty. I operate on all those things, and I never compromise on them, ever. I love the opportunity to be your agent, be your friend, be the guy that gets it done for you. Remember Lincoln Homes and Matt Amuchastegui. Contact me anytime at 541-331-1887. Remember, when it feels like home, it's Lincoln Homes.
Thank you, thank you. So again, never got a single call, but that year while I was running the radio, when I was running those radio, because I quit doing the radio ads. And she was like, well, but the ad sounds great. I'm like, yeah, but I haven't got a call. But my sales were actually high that year. So I'm pretty sure it's just a saturation thing. I had one more that was a little more sentimental, but I'm going over on time. I got to get you guys out of here. So we're going to move on. All right. So I love this one. Okay. $300, hand sanitizer station. No one's called me and said, hey, I don't know who you were, but I washed my hands for the cart and you look like a nice guy. But $300, you know, and it's just a reminder. This is just saturation. People remind, oh, Matt, grocery cart. Anybody else do these? The grocery dividers? Boom. Okay. Dude, I got this down to $100 right now because they wanted to renew. I said, I'm not renewing. I'm sorry. I'm canceling. And I said, I'll tell you what, $100 if you want. Okay, we'll do that till we find someone. So now it's only $100 a month. I've got a couple calls on that. Again, it's just saturation reminders. Billboard, this is my favorite one. I love putting my family on boards. This is $1,200 a month. So, I mean, one thing, if you're new, once you have the money, taking risks in marketing, I think is a good idea. There's probably better ways than billboards and other things, but I do think you should be spending a monthly budget of something on marketing. You should plan for that. Whether it wants to be 20% or 15%, if you're not marketing or promoting yourself, no one else is really going to do it except for the few people on the yard sale sites, right? So you got to believe in yourself and bet on yourself. These are my favorite things to do. I sponsor Little League. I sponsor 3 different teams. It's $1,200. That's my son Lincoln there, and I also get out there and coach. I've got a couple deals from this where someone sees me coaching. They use a different realtor. They tell their friend to use me instead because I'm a good guy, and I got a $12,000 commission. This was fun. Lincoln Homes Invitational. If anybody wants help to talk about how to do a golf course donation thing, or give back, or a promotional event, I would love to help you. I've been through it 3 years. This last year, I was able to donate about $8,000. Aaron came and played with me one time. We should have won. Girl team beat us, actually. It's horrible. We think they cheated. This is my buddy. He even brought the reptiles out this time. I just had to post that one. But this is a great way. So I think sponsorships or community events like this are the best thing to do. It's actually my business partner from the dispensary over here. And you guys recognize that guy, right? So we lost by a stroke there. Okay. I want to talk about the importance of having a mentor. I didn't have one anymore. Aaron is one of my mentors. One of the most valuable things I get is when he picks up the phone between 5 and 5:30 on my way to the gym. We have 10 minutes to talk. I get that for free. Other people pay for it. But other than that, I didn't have one. And so reading a couple books, I read so many. I have another list of books I know we all do. But Awaken the Giant Within with Tony Robbins was a huge game changer for me in 2018. I quit blaming people. I quit thinking everybody owed me something. And I started doing the actionable steps. I'm telling you, if you read that book and you do those things, if it doesn't change your life, call me and tell me I'm full of shit. And I guess I'll believe it, but that was a big one for me. And then The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. A lot of good things in there, but primarily, and it's a good thing here, Nicole talked about it. And just out front, I was talking to a gentleman, killer agent, sold a ton of real estate. Here I won my area, which feels big, and I did a fraction. I did like 15.5 million or something, and this dude did like 56 or 57. I'm like, holy shit, I'm not going to mention how much I sold anymore. But there's always going to be a bigger dude in the gym, right? I still go to the gym. Why? Because I look at myself in the mirror. I don't look at Bill in the mirror or Aaron in the mirror, right? Good thing he's way bigger than me. You know, you got to look at yourself in the mirror. So you got to find out, it's good to have comparisons. Like you'd say, well, wait, you say that, but you want to be number one in your brokerage. Well, yeah, I want to be number one because I can do that. I believe I can do it. It's attainable. But I think comparing yourself to the right people is important too. If you're needing a mentor and you don't have one yet, I'm happy to help. You'll get my number here or whatever. You can call me anytime. Oh, God. Okay. I'm just going to sum this up really quickly. Take the high road. You'll have an opportunity to get upset, like when you lose a listing or whatever. I always take the high road with my clients. I've had people I've helped out a lot. I've put months into them. I'm talking to them, and then they tell me, hey, Matt, we decided to go another route. Sorry, and I really want to give them an earful. And I wait, and then I want to beg for them back, like that girlfriend that doesn't want to date anymore. You're like, are you sure you don't want to date me anymore? Or, no, you don't. That only happened one time, by the way. I learned my lesson quick. No, I take the high road because in the end, it always pays off. I've had people come back after it doesn't work out with the other people and they use me again because my interaction with them was solid. I didn't tell them, you know what, screw you, I worked all this time, I can't believe you would do this, but why? And I've had it not work out and they come back around. I've also had other agents choose me, other clients lately, because of how well I represented my buyer when they had a seller, they were selling their house. They canceled that listing and they call me like, look, you really fought hard for your buyer. I'm going to leave it here. Buffaloes walk into the snow because they get through the storm faster. The buyer's agency agreements was one of those things this year. I just want to rip the Band-Aid off. Like Aaron said, the sky usually isn't falling. Don't be afraid of the hard choice. Be like the bison, walk through the storm. What are some goals you can do now? Set some goals and write them on some Post-its. There's Post-its on all these tables. Short-term goal, a 1-year goal, a 5-year goal, an ultimate dream goal. I'd love to tell you I came up with this, but I did not. Tony Robbins did, okay? It wasn't me. But I really think if you're talking about actionable things, put them on a Post-it, put them on your mirror, and watch what can happen when you look at them every day. I just try it and see what can happen every day. Make sure everyone on your social media knows you're in real estate. It's good they know you're a family person. It's good they know, I know some of you like to exercise. Some of you like to do your live videos. I know some of you like to coach your son's events. I've seen it. I know Ernesto likes tequila. I like tequila too. I could go down at like, Chris, you're into cars and pilots, you know, and flying planes. Like, I care about all that. I love seeing the mix, but I think it's so important to have a mix of your personal life and your business life. Lastly, keep going no matter what. Oh, way too many closing thoughts. So here's what I'm going to do. We're just going to skip that one. Jim Carrey left a great quote. And he said, you can fail at what you don't want, so you may as well take a chance at doing what you love. If you guys love selling real estate, if you love helping people, if it makes you feel good to see the genuine smile on their face and know you're helping somebody have a safe place for their family, a good way for them to actually be wealthy, then go all in. If there's one thing you hear from me today, I'll give it two. One, never compromise your morals or values for the sake of a commission. I've never done it, and I never will do it. I've said no to people, and I fired somebody who wanted me to do something shady, and it was for a multi-million-dollar deal. The second one, bet on yourself and go all in. Go all in. Thanks, Aaron. I'm sorry I went over again.
All right. So when you did those Pearl Facebook Lives, which is a real thing, right? So he gets on Facebook Live, would wait for someone to make an order. When they did, he would like scream and yell and wear the crazy hats and get hundreds of people on there. How much would you make on there?
Honestly, on a good night, it was 50%. So if I did like a $1,600 sale, I could make $800 to $1,000. Yeah. But most of the time, it was more like $300 or $400. Yep. But I'll tell you where that came from. Like I was tired, dude. I was tired of struggling. So I saw that it could make money.
Do whatever it takes.
I was 5 different jobs at that time.
Yeah. Matt came to us when he had this idea for the dispensary in Klamath, and that was just one of the things he wanted to do forever. And at that time, like when my dad told him, like when he said that my dad had gotten tired of like the whining or whatever, and said do that. So Matt was like, hey, I've got to do this, and now it's legal in Klamath, and I've got this idea, and will you invest in me? And we were all like, no, dude, go get a real job. Like all of us, it was kind of like we were saying, like, no, give up on your dream. You've tried it. Like, we're not going to do this with you. And it's crazy, right? So he kept going. And so first he's like, no, he's going to do it. And he's going to do it without us. He's going to do it without my dad. He's going to do it without me, without anybody. He's going to find a way to do it. And he sees the deadline to like apply to get his dispensary to do it. And it's like a month away. He's like, cool. So then he had to research like, what did you have to do? Well, you have to have a piece of property in this certain area of town, really small area of town. Matt didn't have any money, didn't have any property. He started looking for properties that were out there. And he found somebody that had a vacant lot in the approved zone. And he went and talked that guy into seller financing him the lot. Right? So he said, sell me this lot. Seller finance it. The guy's like, cool, it's an empty lot in the middle of nowhere. I'll seller finance it. All right, so Matt hasn't done anything yet, but now he has the lot. And then he knows that he can now go apply for his license in the city of Klamath. And he knows that the city opens at like 8 or 9. And he goes and lines up at 6 in the morning.
It was actually 4:30 in the morning.
All right, 4:30 in the morning. He goes and lines up at 4:30 in the morning on the first day that you can get a dispensary license. And he waits in line until they come in. And so now they let him in. He's got his lot because he owns a lot. He owns a lot that was seller finance for him that he hasn't even made a payment on yet, right? But now he owns a lot within the approved area. He's first in line. They stamp it. They say, cool, you got your dispensary license. Now you need a dispensary in the next 30 days. But all he needed at first was the land. And now no one else could get a dispensary within that radius, which meant he was the only dispensary in Klamath Falls.
In that part of Klamath Falls.
In that part of Klamath Falls, there was the medicinal. So he does that without any of the support, right? And then he finds a guy that's a grower that actually does have some money. Now he wants to partner and says, hey, I'll supply that and I'll put up the money, because then he had to get his trailer out there for it. And like a week before it opens, he calls me and says, Aaron, I don't think I should do it. Like, I think I should actually quit. I think it's going to kill my real estate business. Like, I shouldn't do this anymore. I made a big mistake. Like, people aren't going to have me buy or sell their house anymore. They're going to judge me. And I said, Matt, the time to quit was like 6 months ago when we were telling you to quit.
Yeah.
Like, it was a horrible idea. And if you were going to quit, That was when. But you've got the license, you've got the building, you've got everything. You're going to start printing money in a week. And so I'm so glad that I never invested in it. Not for me, but I likely would have ruined it.
No.
I likely would have invested and then become too opinionated and all these different things. And the fact that we all said no is the reason it's super successful, and it's a really cool story to be able to share. So, and hey, the first time he got on stage, I teased him because he had a 30-minute time slot that he spoke for like an hour and a half last time.
It was 45 minutes.
So,
I timed it.
So I had a little bit of secret fluff in here. So we still have time for maybe 2 comments or questions for Matt.
Hi, good job. I love how much you talked about how much you love doing real estate, because that's how I feel too, like how much it fires you up and the passion that you have for it. So I just really felt inspired hearing you speak on that and getting to see the quotes from your dad and everything. So congratulations on all your success.
Thanks.
No question.
Appreciate it.
So since you missed last year, I actually talked about how your Post-it note the year prior is what inspired me to start my affirmations, which has helped Nicole. So everyone here, before you truly take a Post-it, write down a goal you have. Because when Matt said it, I was like, that's so lame. I'm not, it's embarrassing. I don't even want my husband to see it. And I did it, and look at everything.
Did it work? Did it work?
Yes.
It works, right?
I missed my speech last year to hear it worked, but then Nicole did it, so here we go.
Well, thank you. That's awesome to hear.
It keeps on going. One more. Let's go Diego up front.
Hello, this is Diego from Austin, Texas. Hello, everybody. Matt, I really liked what you said about you wanting to have a team of 10 agents and continue to grow, but also deciding to just focus on what you really want to do. Because sometimes we come to events like this and say, hey, I want to do what they're doing and what they're doing and what they're doing, but sometimes you have to focus on what you really want. So thank you very much for sharing that.
Thanks, man.
Awesome.
That means a lot coming from you, dude. I love your story.
I appreciate it.
I love your story.
All right. Awesome. Thank you,
Thanks,
Matt.
guys. Thank you.
All right, real estate rock stars. So hopefully you guys loved hearing one of our speakers from last month's mastermind. If you are considering joining us for next year, now is the time to sign up. We're only going to have ticket sales for the next 30 to 45 days. And after that, we cut it off so that way we can focus on providing value and not selling tickets. So for the event this next year, February 25th to 27th in Austin, Texas, if you're interested in getting a ticket, you can go to realestaterockstarsmastermind.com. And if you want to chat with me about anything, as always, come find me on Instagram at Matt Amuchastegui. Thanks for listening.